YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back, and I finally managed to use Blade's balance buddies to get me a match with some other folks who are in the group. So if you're wanting to play with me, I know some of you it's not going to work out time zone wise. Maybe on the weekends it could, but right now when I do my recording, it's usually between 7:30 and 8, maybe a little after 8 on weeknights, and that's US Central Time, that's GMT -6, so I'm 6 hours behind London. So if you live in London and I'm playing this at 8 p.m., it's 4 a.m. your time. So if you want to play though, join the Blades Balance Buddies. That's where I'm going to be trying to get these matches. These are in the Blades Balance Mod version 2.0. You can get that on the Steam Workshop. Go back to the last episode I uploaded online, and I have a link in the description. You can go check it all out. Join up. If I have time, I'll put a link in this description, but I may not. Anyway, I got some awesome guys to join me here. We've got Marcus Bobarkus as Egypt, Biz43 representing Galatia. Brosidon is just my stupid name on here right now. That's a throw to Halo. I think if you got like a bunch of assists, they gave you an award called Brosidon. I'm going to run with Baktria. And then MG Chikivko here is going with Boii. So should be pretty fun. None of the factions here probably have massive changes to them as a result of this balance mod. I mean, the biggest thing that's going to be the case is like the Levy Freeman between the Boii and the Glacier are going to be a little bit weaker. And then you'll have trample on my Baktria and Royal Cav, and I mean just a few small things like that. So mostly this is very close to Vanilla Rome 2. Not a ton of differences here. So my teammate and I decided to combine our forces in the beginning of this. I have some pikes that are going to be good for holding the center or just distracting enemies, and then I've got slingers to back them up, whereas the Boii is going to be much more well suited to take on the offensive role. So unfortunately this means I'm probably going to have to cede a lot more kills to him, but my Bactrian troops can be used as reinforcements for the Boii, whereas they're not so good offensively on their own. And then I've got great support cavalry here as Baktria too. I've got 3 of these Bactrian nobles and 1 Bactrian royal, which means that we're going to be able to overmatch Galatia and cavalry even if they bring Cappadocians. And Egypt, they're just going to have a hard time keeping up when it comes to cavalry. The Galatian though does bring Galatian raiders. This is smart. These are good cavalry. They can be a nuisance, so we're going to have to be careful. So my Boii teammate's rocking, I think, 4 levy free. He's going to send them to the flanks along with some of his Celtic bome. And at this point, we're kind of deciding what to do. And in assessing the overhead map, we see Galatia over here with 3 Syrians, and we see Egypt here with 3 Nubian bows. So we do not have the skirmishing advantage. They will kill my 4 Eastern slingers, along with his 2 Celtic bowmen. So they have the skirmish advantage. We can't just sit back and shoot it out. And then there's 6 Galatian legionaries right here, and they're backed up by 4 Galatian swords, a Galatian nobleman, and a Galatian spear. So the Galatian is weak in cavalry, but really quite powerful when it comes to infantry. So I can't face the Galatian alone, or I would get killed. Egypt, on the other hand, has brought a pike front. Their pikes are better than mine, so I can't go head-to-head with his pikes. But the Egyptian infantry is, so far all I can see is Thurio spears, but over here is 1 Galatian royal guard, and there's probably another. I'm seeing a Ptolemaic cav back here, 2 camel spearmen, which is kind of an odd choice, but 2 citizen cav, maybe hoping for a scare effect. So the Egyptian cavalry, other than the Ptolemaic cav, is not a huge threat, but with the support of these Thurios, could be a little bit dangerous. So there's 4 Thurios in total. So the Egyptian infantry is less offensive. So what we decided to do is to have the Boii with my help. So I'm going to take these units here and support the Boii push. So the Boii player is going to move his 3 Oathsworn up here along with some sword followers, and we're going to pound Galatia with everything we have. And then I'll just deny this flank to the Egyptians using this hill as a good set piece. So you can see the terrain here. So that'll be a nice set piece. We'll use it. And basically I can control that hill point and keep Egypt from being able to bust through my flank. So that's the idea. So we have to crush the Galatian here as quickly as possible. So we're just going to move up and get position. As you can see, it's not a terribly long battle. It was a little bit laggy when we played it, but it wasn't too bad. I'll tell you the only downside to doing a combined arms approach with a 2v2 like this is that your attention has to be on both flanks and in the center all at the same time. And if you're not a very good micromanager, but like me, that can be problematic. However, it can also be not so bad, because really my role in this battle is to be more of a holding force and a support force, whereas the Boii is going to be the more dedicated attacker. So the Boii is the one that really has to watch his micro going in on the attack, and me, I'm just going to kind of support and go for targets of opportunity whilst delaying the Egyptian. So yes, my micro would be best if it's on par. If it's not, though, it's not going to be the end of the world, as long as I play my cards right positioning-wise. So you can already see the Boii loading up some Levy Free out here to support, but there are some Galatian swords that would kill the Levy Freeman. But with 2 heavy horse and support, it's going to be hard for the Galatian swords to effectively fight here. The Galatian player kind of sees what's happening, though, and he's brought more Galatian swords over to this flank, which is smart. He's going to need to reinforce here. And there's not a lot he can do, to be honest. I mean, he can pull back, maybe, if he wants, but really what he needs is he needs the support of these Galatian Royal Guard. There are only 2 of them. He's also going to need the support of this Ptolemaic Cav. And what I have in mind here is if these units don't come to support and the Galatian legionaries attempt to take us, what I'm going to do is use my cavalry units to disrupt their charge. Hopefully the sword followers will use their powerful charge to go in first, and then I'm going to back up the sword followers with the slight, I don't even know if I would say thorax swords are more durable than sword followers. They're really not. They do have 60 health though, which isn't bad. So the thorax swords will come in and help support the sword followers in a grind out fight. So that's what my goal is. And again, the pikes are just a nuisance and distraction for us, just to keep stuff away from my slingers. And right now we're playing some cat and mouse with the Nubian archers across the way, and the Egyptian player is going to harass me with some citizen cav because I was harassing him with some Bactrian nobles. Bringing a light cav unit may not have been a bad choice because it would have been a good harassment force. These Syrian archers concern me a great deal. They are going to be some powerful skirmishers. Wow, that's a beautiful background right there. That's not bad. I like that. Get us some Syrian archer screenshot. No, they moved right before I got the picture. Jeez, there's photography. Anyway, looked good. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a stalemate. I did not pick the map to give us a hill advantage, and as you can see, we've moved forward quite a bit. I didn't realize the map was kind of crappy like this. It's not going to give us much of a hill advantage, but it does, and I felt bad about that. But at the same time, we're just going to play it out here. So, and we do go on the attack. We're not just going to camp up here on the height. We're gonna come down and attack. So my swordsmen are under fire from Assyrian heavies, and I'm going to send a Bactrian noble horse up and see if he reacts. If he does not, I believe that worst case scenario is I take 1 or 2 javelins from his Galatian legionaries, which I'm kind of willing to take at this point because killing these Syrian archers is going to be key. So I am going to eat some jab volleys here, but I go ahead and start retreating, and my royal or noble horsemen are going to get away with quite a few kills here. 42 Syrian archer kills, and then my eastern slingers managed to wreck this unit while he was distracted. So a very good start to that engagement for me. The Nubians move up, and they're going to start peppering my pikemen. But the pikes are in an uphill position, which ought to be good for me. And back here, the Galatian raiders kind of get caught up in some Levy Freemen, and they actually... or no, that's a bowman. The Levy Freemen are wavering a bit, but if that fight settles in, they ought to do okay. And let's see, over here, you can see that I did use my Bactrian noble horse to damage this Galatian legionary. I think it had an attack on my Bactrian noble horse because I didn't take any losses, so this becomes a very excellent engagement for my thorax swords. That was precisely what we needed to happen. These sword followers are getting destroyed by the Galatian legionary combined with the Galatian raiders. But over here, where we have Oathsworn supported by thorax swords, we're going to win this fight very handily. Here comes an Oathsworn, and then a sword follower here. Or no, that's a Celtic warrior. But the sword, this Oathsworn here is going to really tank out the Galatian legionary, and with the support of my with my thorax swords in these fights, it's going to really add some staying power to the weaker Celtic units that the Boii was fielding. Got my Bactrian noble horse into this Galatian raider, but I'm still taking a lot of losses from the javelins on the one in the back, so it's not the best engagement. Here I've got kind of my holding pattern set up. I do have a little bit of a gap in my lines at the moment. There was some impassable terrain right here that was making it a little bit difficult to get lined up. But essentially you can see me just, again, playing a deny the flank game. All I gotta do is just hold off these Galatian Royal Guard. The rest of the Egyptian infantry is not offensive enough to do anything big, and the Galatian is getting overpowered over here, and the Egyptian can't do much about it. So if we overpower the Galatian in full, which it looks like we will, we'll be able to wrap up on the Egyptian. So these Bactrian noble horse have 97 kills, not bad. And I'm just kind of holding my Bactrian Royal Cav in reserve, and then just kind of holding these horses in reserve as well. I want to hold them to keep his Ptolemaic Cav away from me. If If I can even absorb the Ptolemaic cav charge with one of those units and then finish it with the other, it'll be alright. My slingers do get hit here. It's okay. They've managed to do a little damage before they get killed. This was a mistake on my part, so the crafty Egyptian citizen cav got in here and killed a ton of my slingers. I will get them, but still it was nice work, and the Galatian raiders are waiting for scraps back here as well. So over here, the Galatian Royal Guard end up charging uphill and trying to get through their own camel spears, who are trying to help punch a hole through the thorax swords. And this is just not going to be the best engagement for the Galatian Royal Guard. Using the Thurio spears here, though, to kill a lot of pikes, not a bad plan. But his Galatian Royal Guard just don't get good charges. And this is going to mean that it's going to take them a long time to tank out that uphill engagement. So this is a really good situation. The terrain has done what I needed it to here with the Galatian Royal Guard. And as you can see over here, Galatia is getting beaten badly in these fights. Boii and Bactrian forces here doing a very nice job at helping to wrap up Galatia. I've got thorax swords trying to pin down the Galatian general, and then there's Boii sword followers on the other side, so this noble spear unit is getting torn up pretty badly here. So yeah, we've got Galatia wrapped up effectively at this point. I was trying to sneak through the center, but the Egyptian pikes kind of pinned me, so I have to get out of here. My noble horse takes some casualties. Here we bring our horse out to the flank, and the Egyptian cavalry, or the Ptolemaic cav, does get a charge order, I think. Yeah, with trample. But it doesn't get the best charge. Half of its horses kind of miss over here. And so it's not going to do well in the long run versus my Bactrian noble horse. And in this unit I'm trying to get past. I want to get over here to this blob of skirmishers. But right now that Thurio Spears does a great job coming in here and getting some javelin tosses. Nice work. Like I said, I'm going to keep trying to move on past. My micromanagement's pretty crappy because I'm all over the field. But the Boii player has done a great job with his Oathsworn. 208 kills here. 253 kills on his general. And let's see, 156 kills here. These units need to get re-engaged. Again, we're trying to micro all over the place, which is making us slower everywhere in general. So it hasn't been the best micromanagement match for anybody here. The Ptolemaic Cav General gets crushed between Bactrian Noble Horse and Levy Freeman. Not the place where you want to be as a Ptolemaic Cav. And you can see again the Galatian Royal Guard getting kills, definitely killing my Thorax Swords, but it is taking way too long. And there's Boii Cavalry, and now I'm just throwing reserve units in, like these pikes and everything else, just to hold the Galatian Royal Guard. And here I feinted a rear charge, and this gets the attention of the Galatian Royal Guard. My guys are going to die a terrible, terrible death here, but that's okay. They're doing their job. Again, pikes just being stupid here in the center, just using them to kind of hold up. And the Egyptian Thurio Spears are kind of punching through the center, but there's not a lot they can do here, so I'm just going to try and pin them down with what little cavalry I have. And I'm going to try and get my swords into these pikes, but I can't tell what they're doing. They're kind of doing like a split formation there. And anyway, we've completely wrapped up the Galatian except for one legionary unit. Really, all the credit here goes to the Boii player for running a nice offense here. And now, late game, it means the Egyptian player is going to be exposed to both our armies. So this is definitely not looking good for the Egyptian player. There's kind of some troops derped out all over the place. My Royal Cavalry was trying to get in here, but there's pikes, so I'm going to get it out. It does have 144 kills. I managed to smash a couple targets with it. Right over here I see a nice target. It's this Galatian Royal Guard. They're a little bit tired. They were going into a braced shield wall formation, but I do a trample battle rhythm charge right here, downhill, and it is going to do some damage to that Galatian Royal Guard. It's not going to get a ton of kills, but it's going to be nice. It's going to do some damage at least. So their guys may get back up and keep fighting, but we caused some pretty severe hit point damage there with 114 charge bonus coming in. So definitely caused some hit point damage. And then I'm going to keep using this cavalry to help wrap up fights. There's a Galatian legionary up here. I'm going to go ahead and charge it in the back and see if we can get it out of the fight. Otherwise, I've got thorax swords and everything moving up to engage the Egyptian pikes just so I can hit them from behind. I saved this Bactrian Royal Cav specifically for late game. That heavy horse was in the way of my charge, so I don't really get a charge here. So I'm really not going to get any kills, but we will inflict the attack in the rear penalty on that Galatian Legionary. Most of my guys, though, just get stuck out here. Looks like there was some Galatian Legionaries out there as well, so that's why the charge was kind of funky. But yeah, anyway, we'll just keep watching this this Royal Bactrian Royal Cavalry. It's kind of a fun unit to watch. Can't even tell what I'm charging. I think I'm charging that Galatian Royal Guard again. So I'm going to get in there, and then there's friendly pikes coming in. Those are my levy pikes that are pushing in to support. And at this point, the Egyptian army is just going to crack and break due to army losses. So we end up being successful here. I get a fair number of kills. Not that great, though, again, as I expect. I expect the Boii player, and he did. He cleaned up. This is a large funds battle, though, so the kills will look a little higher. And it looks like, so the Egyptian player, they had a good support army, and if they had decided to do something similar to us, where they combined their arms, I think it would have made their armies a little bit stronger. I think they still would have struggled, though, just because we definitely held the cavalry advantage. 3 Bactrian noble horse and a royal cav, and then we had 4 heavy horse, and they were facing up against only 2 citizen, 2 camel spears, a Ptolemaic, and then 4 Galatian raiders. Now these Galatian raiders can damage heavy cav very nicely, but in this case they weren't able to get to our heavy cav because we had support units. So they did kill some slingers and other units, and you can see these 2 units definitely got a nice number of kills. Well done by the Galatian player. 227 on the Galatian raiders, an excellent job. But again, you can just see the infantry of the Boii here just annihilating their enemies, doing a great job. On my end, the Bactrian Royal Cav did the most number of kills, but we turned some decent numbers out of these thorax swords that were supporting the Boii in the fight. So you can see these guys do alright when they're not the one taking a brutal charge. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll be back with more online matches in this Blade Balance Mod 2.0. If you want to play matches with me, again, let's see if we can find it. Game groups, maybe, is this it here? No, I'm trying to remember where it's at. Let's see. Yeah, it's this group right here, Blade's Balance Buddies. So this is where I'm, going in to find the matches. If you go right here to where it says enter, actually it's not recording at the Steam overlay, so you can't see any of this. Never mind. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I will see you all back on the next episode.